So the apocalypse has happened, and two clans survived on one piece of land, and they've lived together for years, and they've struggled with wars, fighting, killing each other off, and they finally decided that the two clans can no longer live on the same land. So both clans choose their wisest leaders to meet in a trial of gestures and decide who should go and who can stay. So the white collar clan, they're very religious, believe in God, make good money, have lived a good life. They choose their wisest, right? Joshua shows up. And the blue collar clan, they chose Josiah. So you have Joshua and Josiah, both representing two different clans, one white collar, one blue collar. The trick behind this is they cannot argue and they cannot talk. So upon meeting, these guys agree that they can only use hand gestures to reflect the three and out, if you will, like a rock, scissors, paper, one challenge, two challenge, three challenge. At any rate, Joshua starts arguing with Josiah. He says, I should go first. I'm the oldest and the wisest. Josiah doesn't want to get into an argument, so he says, you know what, that's fine. You can go first. Now, this is a fight to stay where they are, and the other clan has to leave. They're sick and tired of too many people dying off. At any rate, Josiah says, all right, I've got it. We're both religious clans. I'm gonna tell him God is everywhere, and I'm just gonna take my hand and span it across, and then Josiah, he replies, pointing down, and Joshua's like, oh, okay. So he said, I said God is everywhere, and he said God is right here. All right, so I've got to figure out another one. I guess he won. Let's see I've got it. He says, you know what? I've got it. The sign of the Trinity. And he puts up three fingers. I'm not holding my pinky down, but he holds up three fingers, and he's, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And Josiah says, okay, well, you know what? I just said, the sign of the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And he said, God is one. I can't lose this last one. And he realizes he brought bread and wine. So he pulls out bread and wine to show for his sins. And he's like, I got this. There's nobody that can beat me. And then Josiah pulls out an apple. And Joshua's stunned. He's absolutely stunned. He said, oh my gosh. I said, God is everywhere. He said, God is right here. I said, the sign of the Trinity. He said, God is one. This guy keeps one-upping me. I just pulled out wine and bread to show for my sins, but he pulls out an apple to show for original sin. So Joshua has to go back to his people and tell him he's left. And they're like, hey, what happened? He said, well, I said, God is everywhere. He said, God is right here. I said, the sign of the Trinity. And he said, God is one. And then I pulled out bread and wine to show for my sins. And he pulled out an apple to show for original sin. So we got to go, guys. All right? We can't do nothing else. We lost, and I'm sorry. Then Josiah goes back to his people, and he's kind of befuddled. He doesn't quite understand. The guy just, left. And the people are like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean he just left? I said, well, we couldn't talk, right? So he was like, you guys got to get out of here. And I said, I'm staying right here. And then he said, you got 3 days to leave. And I said, you got one. And then he pulled out his lunch, and I pulled out mine.